Okay, so we're back again, continuing our review of the database classes code generated by ClassBuilder. So our next step is the two finds we asked for. So we asked for you automatically get a find based on the table key. You pass in the key, you pass in an object to load or a reference to an object to load. And ClassBuilder builds this lovely find that pulls up all the variables on our table and all the fields on the table and puts in a where clause of where ID equals. And then it comes down to the next, it runs the query, returns the database row, and then loads that class with the data, and then is done. Now, I need to point out, he's sending back a pass fail. Now, this is misleading. You cannot, and I want to stress cannot, ask if find is true, therefore I found a record. Find, the pass fail, is was the SQL executed, yes or no, or was the SQL in error? That is pass fail. It is not confirming that you have data. You can do a perfect SQL that returns no records. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. That'll return true. It ran beautifully. It just didn't return what you wanted. So I want to point that out on the finds. And I also want to point out that whenever you pass a reference to a object to any of these functions, it gets initialized, gets cleaned out, initialized, brand new, and then it gets loaded. Okay, so again, what we're after here is reusing the same reference over and over and over and not stacking up copies of it in memory. We're trying to keep the your memory imprint as low as possible and have no memory leaks. So that is what the initial guaranteed you get every time find. Now we said that the name on this table is unique, and when we sent that flag in, we also told it to find by name. And what I can do real quick here is pop this up and let's go look at what we asked for. And we come into you and we go to name and we said it's unique. The minute we said that this is unique, we also checked build me a find based on this field, okay? So that's what this is. It's find by field name. So you could actually have a unique field, numerous unique fields on a table, and with a simple click, you can actually have ClassBuilder build finds by that field. This one ends up, we did it by name. If that had been book title, then this would be find by book title, okay? So that's how it's generating these. And he dumps the whole table, loads it up into the object, and is done, and returns pass fail that the code successfully completed. There was not a SQL error in the code. So again, stress all of that. All right, now we've done our finds. Given the structure of what we're doing, I'm going to jump over save and delete because I want to touch on validate real quick. The first piece of save is to validate, to make sure that the record we're trying to input meets whatever validation that the system has. Now, I'm going to need both of these guys up again because on these fields, when you filled them out, You said this guy is not null. Well, that translates into a validation that says the name length can't be 0, can't be blank. Okay? We said our max length is 75. Therefore, the length of the name cannot exceed 75, otherwise it's an error. We also said that this is unique. So, ClassBuilder comes over and says, here's the unique check for ship components for field new. He's looking for records where it's been saved to the database and seeing if he can find a unique record. So if you're a brand new record and haven't been saved to the database, it's one check because we're checking against something that isn't there and it can't be on the database. If you're updating a record, what we want to do is make sure I'm updating this record and there's only one of him on the database and that's the one I'm updating. So those are the two checks that it actually creates and executes for you. And those are the primary validations that you have in ClassBuilder. And it doesn't matter how many fields you put this on, it will, very fastidiously come in here and build all of these checks for you. And I think that's probably going to finish this video. This function here is if there's a failure, he's actually going to pop the message up and tell you that there's been a failure, and then he returns the pass fail. So then he'll bypass the save, go back to our main screen. So that is how this all rolls up.